Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bite the Bullet. Again, you caught me dancing because I have an awesome guest. I mean, the music gets me hyped, but then knowing who I'm about to bring to you that's going to share their wisdom also gets me hyped. So I just want to dance. You know what I mean, people? I'm sorry, I'm just being silly. But anyway, so the guest I'm about to bring on is Becky Jones. She is such an awesome person. I haven't had the privilege to speak with her a lot, but anytime I've spoken to her, she is just a positive, awesome person. And I can't wait to share with you guys what I have been able to experience with Becky. So without further ado, let me go ahead and read off her nice little intro here. Becky Jones is a mom, life coach, theta practitioner. Oh, excuse me. Wow, I'm butchering that. Practitioner, entrepreneur, and motivational speaker. Becky empowers people to connect to their spiritual power within. She is on a mission to raise consciousness and love all around the world. With a message like that, you know Mr. Positivity is going to have a good, nice conversation with Becky Jones. So let's go ahead and bring out my girl, Becky Jones.
Hi. Oh, your energy is amazing, Jay.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm really surprised my parents didn't put me on some type of medication when I was a kid, but yeah, definitely. And I apologize for butchering your intro right at the beginning. So if you don't mind, could you please properly give the audience exactly a little bit of your story?
So I am a mum. I have been a mum since I was 18 and I am now 29. So my daughter is 9 and I am also a life coach and a theta practitioner, which is, so theta is when you go into a meditative state. So it's like when you are under hypnosis, but you go and you meet with the creator, and it's just a beautiful practice of where you go up and you go to the 7th plane and you can give people downloads and start pulling people's beliefs and it's just a really nice practice. Very spiritual since I've been on this spiritual journey for 2 years. And before that, I was a PT and a hairdresser. And I don't know what else I'll put on my bio. I'm an entrepreneur as well. So I have quite a few ongoing businesses that, and I'm a practicing motivational speaker as well, which I am. You know, if someone would have said that I would have been on camera or doing an interview 6 months ago, I definitely would have said, no way. This was one of my biggest fears. So.
Oh, I get that. I think the statistic says like 90% of all people on this earth, their greatest fear is public speaking, which I know there are times where I'm definitely afraid to speak in people. I think it just in front of people. I think it just pretends on the environment. But that's definitely a lot of people's fear. But I'm glad you came on this road. Otherwise, I'd never met you and you definitely wouldn't have been on this show. So thank you so much for taking that leap of faith and courage. And I'm curious, what started you on your path? Does that make sense?
So on my spiritual path?
Yes.
Or just my path? Okay, so I went through quite a rocky time. When after I had my daughter at the age of 18, I struggled with depression really bad. And I went down quite a rocky road of just being addicted to drugs and going out and partying and just not looking after myself. It was quite a scary time, if I'm honest. You know, I thank God every day, you know, for watching over me and just guiding me through that time, and it just being a life lesson that I was going through. And I hit rock bottom when I was 26, where I just didn't want to be here anymore. I had no connection to God before that. I would have classed myself as an atheist. I had no spiritual connections. I had no relationship with God or Jesus or anything of the spiritual realm. religion wasn't a thing in my family either. I come from an atheist family. And I then started to, when I didn't want to be here anymore, I started reading a book called Eckhart Tolle, Power of Now.
Yeah.
And yes, that took me to understanding that what was going on in my head was my ego. My ego was, it wasn't. It was that thing, that battle of the consciousness and the unconsciousness.
Right.
And when I started reading that, everything changed. Everything was like a lot clearer. I noticed the birds and the sky and just everything was a lot brighter. It wasn't dull anymore. I could hear things. I could see the flowers blooming, and it was an awakening. It was awakening where I then knew that there was other things, another life out there, that I wasn't living in my purpose at that time when I didn't want to be here.
Right.
And when I got to that point of not wanting to be here, and I took myself off to the beach of just trying to find out how I was gonna leave this planet, not to find, not to hear what I heard. And God spoke to me because I was open to God coming in. I was open to something to show me a sign. What do I do? And God spoke to me of, you've got a mission greater than you can physically see. And I was like, I don't know what that means, but I just knew that I had to trust. I had to trust because I've got a little girl and she's me everything, so I had to find something that was gonna. And I actually had the Power of Now for 5 years. I had that book for 5 years, and I tried to read it 5 years earlier when I broke up with my child's dad, and I couldn't understand a word that it was saying.
Well, I'm a firm believer that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, right? So there's certain things when you're not ready, regardless of what you try to do, it's not going to work out until you are ready, right? So at this point in your life, when you finally were able to read The Power of Now, and there's this greater than you thing that you have to do. How do you start? What did you start doing? Because I know changing a behavior, fighting against the ego is not the easiest thing. So what did you particularly do?
I started reading every day. I just made that a thing of reading every day.
Was there a particular thing you read, or was it just different things?
It was just personal development books. It was spiritual books, personal development. I also listened to a lot of YouTube of motivational speakers, because you hear them all the time saying they've hit rock bottom a few times, not just once, but a few times. And that's how you get back up and you're stronger. And it was that thing of, if you put something in your ears every day that's positive, it's going to start shifting them brain cells that's going to the negative side. And and meditation was a big thing for me. Meditation. I could never slow my mind down. I could never just sit in silence. It was just, but because I practiced it every day. And it was that thing of, even if it was just 5 minutes, I'd do it every day.
So Becky, what kind of, sorry to interrupt, what kind of meditation did you do? Because I know a lot of people will say they meditated, and there's thousands upon thousands of different ways that people meditate. So if this is too personal, I'll retract the question, but what kind of meditation were you doing, particularly at that time, to help calm and get focused?
I started listening to guided meditation on Unplugged meditation, which they've got loads of different speakers on there. And now I can just do meditation in silence, but that was never the case beforehand. It had to be guided, of that thing of bring yourself back.
Yeah.
And it's that thing of slow. It's knowing that you're not meant to stop thinking when meditating. It's not meant to feel bad when you meditate. It's that you just go with the thoughts, and then if you get too deep into it, you just bring it back to the breath. And And that's where I really guilt tripped it. Put my teeth back in, hang on. I really guilt tripped myself at first
I'm
because I
sorry.
thought,
I love that phrase that you just said. Put my teeth back in because you're still. I love that. I'm gonna start using that. I love that. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just love that.
it's when we words get all mumbled up, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
put my teeth back in. But it's that thing of not stopping your
Yeah.
mind, not feeling bad that your mind's going off.
Yeah.
Sometimes we
Mm-hmm.
get downloads in that quiet time,
Mm-hmm.
and they're the times where things come in where it's a great idea, and you're like, oh, never thought about that before. But you'd never get to that point if you were feeling bad about thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where my peace comes from.
I love that. And I'm a firm believer in that as well. It's not about me silencing my thoughts, it's about me learning how to control the pathways and how to control what I'm allowing to come into my cipher, right? So, how has this helped you in raising your family and starting businesses? And how's it helped you in your life?
We are in England, we are in lockdown. We've been in 3 lockdowns now.
Right.
And this one is where, the shops are closed and, well, you've got your supermarkets that are open, but gyms, everything like that is closed.
Mm-hmm.
Schools are closed. So my daughter's been off most of last year, and,
Okay.
it's coming into this year now. And
Mm-hmm.
these practices help me and her connect on a level where she'll now wake up and go, Mum, what are you grateful for today? And we'll sit there and we'll talk about the things that we're grateful for.
Oh.
Or sometimes she'll come in and she'll start chanting with me, or she'll sit and she'll meditate, and she goes to bed
Mm-hmm.
listening to guided meditation. And I just think, if I wouldn't have gone on this path, we wouldn't have been that close where I can teach her how to manifest. And she's so creative, and she just sits in her element while drawing, and
Mm-hmm.
she's allowing that flow to come. And beforehand, I was very angry. And I didn't know what joy was. I didn't know how to play with her, or
Right.
because I think when you grow up, you get caught up in being an adult rather than,
Of course. Yeah.
and the stresses of life, and paying bills and all that crazy stuff, and being in work. I work so many hours of being a hairdresser. I would go to work and then come
Mm-hmm.
home and do work at home. There was no balance. Where now I've got an online business, I can do courses, I invest in myself all the time. I'm always investing in my knowledge. I'm always like teaching my daughter how to read, and she reads on her own, and it's just, my life's completely changed from
Well,
that workaholic mentality.
I think it's so cool that you're able to share this with your daughter, because that if you'd have had it back then, your life could be different. I mean, it's funny how there's so many things in our past that once you get to a point where you don't want to change it, but you're just like, oh, if I had known this back then, right? So how challenging was it for you to introduce this to your daughter? Because most kids don't want to sit still. They don't want to just sit there and listen to things, right? So how were you able to convince your daughter that this was a way to do, or a way to be?
It took patience,
Mm-hmm.
just not forcing them. They've got to make
Yeah.
the decision. So I'd
Mm-hmm.
just go off to my room and just do what, take 5 minutes. Mum's just taken 5 minutes, and she'd follow me up. She knows that she's either got to sit with me or sit out the bedroom. So it was one of them. And I started to bring in the gratitude of a morning where
Okay.
it'd be, Amelia, what you're grateful for today? And she'd be like, no, Mum, I don't want to do this anymore. And I'd just tell her what I was grateful for. And I'd say,
Mm.
I'm really grateful for the family unit right now. And, I feel so much love. And then you'd see her starting to smile. And I'm so grateful for the clouds. Look, the sunset, and look how pink the sky is. And she'd then start being like, oh, this makes me feel good. And it's making it into a game of, okay, well, I'll start. And then if you don't want to do it, that's fine, but I'm still going to do it.
That is, I never thought about it like that way of trying to make it a game, which my kids are currently, they're 15 and 11, but I could still do something like that. And that's pretty cool. Like, so you didn't force her to do it. You just had her be a part of it, of what you were
Yeah.
doing. And then she could see the joy. That's pretty cool. I like that. All right.
Because it was even the fact of when I got with my partner now, who's really supportive, you know, he's a great man, and he comes in and he brought God into our household, where beforehand it was more the fact of the universe was the thing that I went to, and God was not. The word God kind of was just like, oh no, it's a man, and it's this thing of a religious thing, and you know, for me, religion's not a thing for me, just because there's too much anger in there, and opinions and ego, and I love the spirituality aspect. And when Rakeem come in, it was let's put the armor of God on, and Amelia just didn't want to do that at all. But we still did it. We still put the armor of God on. It was, and that's our thing every morning of let's put the armor of God on, and now she does it with us. She'll always listen, and now she puts the shoes of good news on, and it's good because we can do it as a family unit.
Well, that is so cool to be able to hear how open you were. Like, even though you weren't necessarily enthusiastic about it, you were able to be like, you know what, at least let me be open. I love him. I'm sure he's doing this for our benefit. Let me be open. And now you are just, dare I say, oozing with light and positivity.
That's it.
Oh, so I'm curious. You are doing so much to transform yourself. You're clearly transforming the people that you love around you, and they're transforming you for all this betterment. How or why are you also wanting your mission to do that for everybody else in the world? And I ask because, as a person who dubs himself Mr. Positivity, there are a lot of days where I don't feel like being positive. I don't feel like being everybody else's cheerleader.
Yeah.
Why do you do it?
Because I know what it's like to live in the darkness. And if I had someone that was light around me, it would have been so much easier. So I know showing up in the darkness with my light is going to influence even just one person. And that for me just means everything. Because if I was watching someone that was quite light or wanting to help, because my inbox is always open to people. I'll always chat to anyone, and, you know, help anyone that's in need. Because, and as well, it's that thing of, if we look at the state of the earth and how much litter and carbon dioxide and all this thing that's going out into the air, we are literally ruining earth. It's, you know, there's plastic in the sea, there's plastic in our fish, it's just, if we raise the consciousness to love, the planet wouldn't be like that.
Oh, I agree 100%. I'm vegan, and I was raised in the years of Captain Planet. So it's been like ingrained in my mind for like generations now. And I just love that whole mission of just raising the consciousness of everyone to be of love versus anything else. And I love that. And that is awesome. And I think this actually might be a good segue into the now famous Bite the Bullet questions. So Becky does not know what is coming her way. She has not seen these questions. I'm sure her hair is shaking on her head right now out of fear. Are you ready for these questions, Becky?
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. All right. What motivates you to do what you do?
Interesting. I would say people that change, and they're like, my life's not the same anymore, and they start to see life differently. coaching my clients,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, it's magical. That's all I can describe it, is just seeing the magic and the light oozing from people, and you're kind of
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I helped with that. I really helped with that.
No, I understand that completely. I get that. What is the one common myth about you that you want to debunk?
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Um, ooh, I don't even know. Um,
I need to get the rights to play the Jeopardy song
I
when
know.
people are thinking.
I don't know what a common myth would be.
Okay, what about hairdressing? A common myth about hairdressing that you would like to debunk?
That we just sweep floors and it's really pretty and glamorous. It's like you end up with a spine like all crooked.
Right.
And it's so hard. It's such a hard job. Come out with blistered feet, but as long as everyone else looks good, that's
Uh-huh.
job done.
Oh, I get that. What's one thing you wish you had known before you began your career?
What's one thing that I would have?
And you're a lady of many hats, so pick a career.
I know. Personal, I would say life coaching. What was the question again?
So, what's one thing you wish you had known before you began your career?
How to have patience. Yeah, because I just want it now.
Mm.
I found it hard because I'm quite. I like to be successful and
Hmm.
expect success now,
Yeah.
right now.
I think we all can relate to that one way or another, for sure. Definitely. If my videos could just go viral right now, I would love that. Thank you. Next question. If you could have dinner with any three people, dead or alive, who would they be and why?
Les Brown would have to be up there for sure, just
Okay.
because is hilarious, and
Right.
he's just so motivational. Like,
Uh-huh.
being on the Power Voices
Right.
has changed everything
Hmm.
for me, and just being surrounded by such positive people on the same journey like yourself, which
Yeah.
he gets to do that for people, and I think he's got such great wisdom.
Oh,
Marilyn
absolutely agree.
Monroe is another one, because I just think she was so misunderstood, and she stands strong for women, especially curvy women, and it wasn't
Mm.
just being thin. And I think, yeah, I really relate to her being
Okay.
misunderstood.
All right.
Who would my third person be? Oh,
Oh,
Esther Hicks.
Esther
Esther
Hicks.
Hicks.
Esther
Yeah.
Hicks. Okay.
Abraham Hinks, she's the one for me. She talks about vibration
Hmm.
and the law of attraction, and it's not just about the law of attraction. You've got to
Yeah.
be a vibrational match, and
Oh, yeah.
and it's in the vortex.
Hmm.
Your manifestations are in the vortex, and it's just
Hmm.
about aligning with it, and then
Yeah.
it comes out, and it's
Hmm.
it's that for me was game changing. That was game
Okay.
changing, knowing
I,
that
th-
information.
I think you're gonna have a very interesting dinner there.
I know.
Okay. All right. All right. So next one. What is something people would be surprised to know about you that they don't already know?
When I have low days, they're low. They're really low,
Mm,
but I
okay.
still show up.
But you still show up. I love that. I love it. Okay. All right. What's one thing you failed at and what did you learn?
It's one thing to fail then.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. failed at school.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you say you failed at school. What do you mean you failed at school?
So I failed like my maths and
Okay.
English,
All right.
GCSEs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, do you call them GCSEs in America?
No, because you're talking about science.
GCSEs is what you do at the end of secondary school.
Oh, so those would be our SATs and our
Yeah.
there's some other acronyms that I'm
Yeah.
like, okay. But yeah.
So I couldn't go to college unless I had them. So then but because my belief was so shattered, because I didn't
Mm-hmm.
believe that I could learn, I went through a lot of like most like some people do, where they go through school and
Okay.
teachers call them thick, and
Mm-hmm.
that stayed with me for a long time. So
Yeah.
I failed at quite a lot of things, of even getting into college because of my maths and my English, where
Okay.
now I can sit here and say that taught me a lot of graft. I grafted for the money that I earned. But now I educate myself every day and I learn something every day because I know that I'm worth that.
Okay. I like that. All right. What makes you feel inspired or like your best self?
What makes me feel inspired?
Or like your best self?
I'd say always connecting to my higher self.
Oh, okay.
So I do higher self meditations, and
Mm-hmm.
I connect. I journal. What would she wear? How would she wear her hair? Because connecting to your higher self,
Yeah.
he or she knows that everything's possible, what we want.
Yeah.
Sometimes we've just got to up level to our higher self. So I'd say that inspires me to connect.
Okay. All right. I like that one. I like that one. All right. Here's a tougher one. If you could have a billboard with anything on it, what would it be and why?
I don't know. If I could have a billboard with anything on it,
Right? What would it be and why?
okay, I would have something with a sun on, just to be like brighter days are around the corner. Something along it being a
Okay.
brighter day, just so it switches people's mind to read
Right.
it. It's positive, and it's okay. Like if they're in that dark place, brighter days are there around the corner. I think it's something along them lines. It would be.
Yeah, no, I love that. Like, can we get a billboard campaign people to come and just put up a bunch of boards all around the world with a big sun that says brighter days are ahead? And that's all it needs to say.
Yeah.
I bet that would light up so many people's worlds traveling wherever they got to go. That's a great idea. Oh, I like that one. I wonder if we could do that. Yeah. What advice would you give someone wanting to pursue a career similar to yours?
Keep going. Keep being consistent. Keep showing up every day, even when you don't think things are happening. And then when you are so close to just being like, oh, nothing's happening, and then it's almost like it's there.
Yeah.
The path is laid out. The people will start messaging you, and as well, it's that thing of letting go of control. Sometimes we can just be sat there going, oh, it's not working for us. But if we kind of let go just a little bit and align, going down something.
I agree 100% because I feel like as the moment you feel like giving up, keep going, because that is probably going to be the moment where things are going to change.
Yeah.
What's the most important thing you've learned so far in your life and why?
To take time for me.
That's self-care, that's self-love.
Yeah. Self-love.
I love it.
Self-love. it took me a while to stop burning myself out. Of take that whole day without your phone, to take that time just being me. Have fun.
I love what you said. A whole day without your phone. How many people would go into heart palpitations a whole day without their phone? That is, I love it though. But you're right. You're 100% right. I love it. Oh man. In your opinion, what is your best tip for making the world a better place?
Smile. Just smile at strangers, because even when you're having a bad day and you go outside, there's always someone having a worse day than you, and you don't know what's going on in people's lives, and that smile could be the only smile that they receive in a week, in a month. And some people look at me strange. They're like, who is she smiling at? But just smile. There's not enough people that smile on always.
I agree. Everybody, make sure you're smiling. We don't want that sadistic serial killer smile. Just smile. Just walk casually. Yeah, just casually walk around smiling. We get it. If you could turn back time and talk to your 18-year-old self, Becky, what would you tell her?
Don't do it.
We don't need any explanation. I get it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I love it. I love it. All right. What are you afraid of?
Sharks.
Hey, fair enough. Everybody got their thing. Sharks. Fair enough. I can't front. I'm not too fond of sharks either. So only a few more questions left. They're going to get tougher. If in 150 years, science fails to save us all, Becky, and the only thing that's left is a book about your life, what would the title be and what would the back say?
Oh, this is hard. Okay, the title would be Love is the Only Way.
Love is the only way. I like that. Okay.
And the back would say, there is no evil where love is.
Oh, I like that. I'll pick that book up. Okay. All right. I like that. All right. That works. All right. So next question. What are the best resources that have helped you along the way? Now, resources can be people, websites, books, songs, food for that matter. But what have been the best resources that have helped you along the way?
Books, for sure. Just changed the my whole life. I literally read 2 books a month.
I know earlier you were talking about the power of now. Are there any other books you would suggest?
I would suggest The Millionaire Mindset is amazing.
Right.
That teaches you the programs around the money that you have, why we live our certain life, like our life. What else would I suggest? The User Guide to Spiritual Meditation, and that talks about our food industry and meditation and just how to lift our vibration. What's another one? I've read a good few. What's that book called? Can't remember the name of it. The name of the book will come to me in a minute.
Oh, don't you love when that happens, when you're trying to think of something and you're like, a few moments later it comes to you when you're not thinking about it anymore? So last question, and we always love to save the hardest one for last, Becky. Where can our listeners connect with you online?
I am on Instagram and Facebook. I haven't got a website yet. That is on its way. I have literally just been trying to find my path of what my website will be about. But now I'm on it. Now I'm on it. I'm on that path. It's come to me. It's been no stress. And yeah. So yeah, Facebook and Instagram.
Both are Becky Jones?
Becky Jones on Facebook and Becky UBT111 on Instagram.
Okay. All right. So I want to be respectful of your time, and I thank you so much for being on the show today. It was a pleasure. I had a wonderful conversation. Before I officially let you go, are there any last thoughts you'd love to share with the audience today?
Yeah. So I just want to touch on the fact that our obstacles in our life are our opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Among them, obstacles that we think, oh, they're so big, we up level, we grow through them, and
Mm-hmm.
they turn into our opportunities. You know, my biggest fear was speaking on camera, but I done it every day, and now now I'm on the Power Voice, and I'm here, and these are all opportunities that I never thought that I would ever be on. And I do guided meditation for the people in my company, and that wouldn't. I had this thing of I might stutter or I might miss my words, or
Mm-hmm.
and it's just one of them things. But that was my opportunity because I put myself out there, and they were big obstacles for me. So just know whatever you go through, you grow through. It's the up leveling. It is the up leveling of
Mm-hmm.
yourself. I'm nowhere near the person I used to be. I am unrecognizable because I've overcome my obstacles.
I love that, because obstacles are opportunities. I'm sure I'm going to put that into a Mr. Positivity video, because that is awesome. And I second that completely. So with that being said, again, thank you so much, my friend, for being on the show. And everyone, this has been Bite the Bullet, and we will catch you all later.
Thank you
See
so
ya.
much.